Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Don. Don is from England in the UK. So let's see what Don has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello Don, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? I know we've already sort of had like the little mini introductions, but yeah, I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
No problem. Anytime, any chance to talk about what I do, and even if we can even get a little bit of what you do, that'd be even better as well.
So tell me, how was your day today?
It's been interesting. So I work as a mill operative as my full-time job because I work as a radio host as well as a podcaster, as well as hosting festivals and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And that doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately. I wish it did, but
Yeah,
at the day, I've got a roof I've got to pay for. I've got cars I need to pay for, and all the equipment that I use. So it's yeah, it's what pays the bill at the moment. But hopefully, the aim, the long-term goal, the 10-year plan, the 5-year plan is to make this a commercialized thing.
yeah. Welcome to the club. I'm the same boat as well.
I think a lot of people that we talk to is very much in that same boat. I mean, because I talk to a lot of artists, I speak to a lot of managers, and I do a lot of like press releases and stuff. And everybody seems to be in that same sort of scenario where they're wanting to do this full time, they're wanting to have this as their sole source of income, but it's getting that you've got to do those first steps, you've got to make those first moves to get there.
Totally, and I think that's the most enjoyable part of it as well, because it's hard. You have a full-time job, you have, as you said, bills to pay, you have things happening as well, and in the end of the day, it's when you look back, when you started, go like, my God, it's a bit of improvement, and you learn a lot, and what counts is the journey. For you to look back, you go like, you know what, the ride it has been amazing.
Exactly, that's what it is though. It's the whole journey from a lot of people tend to always kind of like be very narrow-minded into the future. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. But sometimes you just need to take that second and just look back at to where you've come from. Look what you've achieved. I mean, speaking with people who play guitar, for example, they might be like, "Oh, I'm really struggling to get this chord sequence right. I'm rubbish at playing guitar." But you say, "Okay, let's watch a video. A year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10, however long, a month ago." And you can see the growth, you can see the development throughout, and it is one of those things that everybody seems to take for granted. I mean, I'm guilty for it myself. We
Yeah.
forget where we've come from and the skills that we acquire, and skills people seem to forget that they take time to grow. You've got to repeat a skill multiple times for it to sink in and become second nature, and you've got to do the work to get there.
Totally. So tell me, where are you from, Don?
So originally, I'm from Leeds, but
Mhm.
I currently live in York in the north of England.
Okay.
And yeah, it's my aim is to move further down south. So I've been looking across like from like Suffolk and Norfolk all the way through to the Midlands and down up towards Bristol, sort of that kind of like belt there. Because with what I do, I speak with a lot of artists, I speak to a lot of different people, and I go to a lot of gigs. And I need somewhere that is a bit more central in England.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the country gigs, because I do country music as a specialist, I see a lot of gigs in London, and traveling to London from York is, it's a 3.5, 4 hour drive at times. So moving further down south for me is the direction that I'm wanting to go to. I also do a lot of fishing, and up north there is some fishing lakes that are okay, and I've got some that are local to me that are really nice. But a lot of the big ones, a lot where the bigger fish are, they're all down south, and that's my that's like the side thing that I want to do as well. And I want to do that in terms of blogging and vlogging as well, is the fishing side. But it's just getting time to do it alongside working a full-time job and doing what I do in podcast and radio and the festivals and gigs, and you can rattle it off.
What was the biggest joy of growing up in Leeds, in your opinion?
The biggest joy, I mean, I'm a Leeds United fan. It's a football team, soccer if you're watching in America, and being around friends that are supporting the fellow team because it was our local team, and the fact where I lived was just on the outskirts of Leeds, and it was a mixture of a stone's throw away from the countryside, but you're a stone's throw away to the other side to going into the city centre. So it was a mixture of everything, and it allowed me to kind of like discover what I wanted as a person and what sort of environment that I like to be in. Now, I personally, throughout the years, of I love being in the countryside because I love the peace. I work in so many different busy environments. When I go to gigs, the noise level is just out of this, out of the world. I've got to wear ear and protection just because if you're subjected to it all the time, you've got to look after yourself. Health is the main thing, that's the most important thing. And when you've finished it all, when you want to go home to a nice quiet village in the middle of nowhere, because I'm on the outskirts of York, in such a quaint little village where there's one pub and there's one post office and one takeaway and the rest is just a couple of houses. It's so peaceful. It is just nice to just stop. And if you find yourself getting stressed, or I suffer with depression and anxiety, and
Mhm.
one of my favorite things to do is just go for a walk around the area, and within 20 seconds I could be in a field, either direction, and that's how vast it is here. And it's just so serene in a way. It's just magical.
Yes, I get your point. I think, for you to be able, to be in a place, for example, I work in central London and I live zone two and zone three. And, just going back home and just having this, not quite as yours, for sure, your surrounding. However, it feels great. I think you just need to rest. You need to kind of, leave the crowds, this noise it's
Yeah.
amazing as well. The buzz, of London is amazing. However, for you to be able to go back home it's automatically your brain, your body kind of starts to slow down a little bit and kind of get relaxed. So I get your point for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I can just imagine that being everybody knows what London's like. No matter where you are in the world,
Yeah.
everybody can relate to that hustle, that bustle, and it's one of those cities that you just don't stop. You are just it's
Yeah.
everybody is just
Yeah.
zoom, 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 and sometimes in life, I mean, particularly as a northerner coming down south and visiting London quite a bit, it's
Uh-huh.
nice to just stop for a second and just watch the people running by and trying to guess, what is going on in people's lives. Like, where are you going to in such a hurry? What is it your job you're going to? Are you going to see family? Are you going to the hospital to see a dying relative? It could be literally anything, and everybody's got
Yeah.
such an individual story. And that's one of the things I've loved watching your show the past few days is just the variety of people that you talk to. I've got to say, it's just incredible. It's from all walks of life, from here in
Yeah.
the UK, over in America, just around the world,
Yeah.
and you do capture everybody's story. And as a podcaster, and I speak with obviously individual artists, and quite a niche thing for
Yeah.
yourself to speak to so many different people. You know, if I wasn't wearing headphones, I'd take my hat off and doff my cap to you because
Thank you so much. Thanks. I think it's a gift for me to be able to connect with so many people around the globe and to, hear some stories, sharing memories, get emotional, laugh. It's just a gift. I think it's if I would see someone doing the magic box, I'll be like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing something like that. So it's
yes.
that's the best feeling anyone can have. When I'm here, that's the best of me, anyone can have. That's I enjoy the most about the show.
I mean, that's sort of the basis of what my show was originally created. Because to kind of like go into a little tiny bit of a backstory, I
Yeah.
worked for an engineering company that made prosthetic hands called Steeper. And one of the engineers based over in San Antonio, Texas, was involved in a car accident. So he couldn't work for a period of time whilst he was doing rehabilitation. So they needed somebody to go over there. And I volunteered because who wouldn't volunteer to go over to live in America for a little bit? And it was only supposed to be for a couple of weeks, and his therapy kept getting delayed, and it kept taking longer and longer and longer. And I was there for, I think it was between 6 and 9 months. I was living over in San Antonio in a hotel fixing all these hands, and it got that I hate bigging myself up, but sometimes it's necessary to do. I was really good at my job, and it was the point where they was actually prepared to move me over there as a full-time basis, and that was the whole plan until they actually sold the product. But the reason why I mention all of that is because in between going to work, there wasn't really much to do, because to get around Texas, to get around America in general, you've got to drive. And
Yeah.
being over there, I mean, I can drive in America, but I didn't have money to hire a car to go explore. So I relied on Ubers and I relied on people I work with to take me places. So I spent a lot of time in the hotel room,
Hmm.
and you can only watch so much TV until it gets, a bit monotonous. So I stuck the radio on. Now, I used to be a fan of country music in the past, but listen to it constantly for up to 9 months. It was eye opening. Listen to different songs from like Chris Stapleton and John Pardy, and these songs that stick into your head that just sounded absolutely incredible. And I came back over here to the UK, and I started discovering more US artists, and it just by happen chance in about, I think it was 2019, and I was at work at the time. I had my headphones in, scrolling through YouTube, pulling up different songs, and a UK artist came through, and I was like, "What? We've got a country scene here in the UK?" So I tried to dive a bit deeper, and it took me forever. It took me ages to kind of like pull up different artists, and there was no real like sort of direction. Now there has been stations here in the UK for years. For years, I mean, the station that I work at the moment has been going since before 2011, and I didn't know. So I thought, if I've struggled to find this, who else has struggled to find these UK artists, this scene
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
now growing massively here in the UK.
yeah.
And I was thinking, well, there was two reasons why I started my show. It was, number one was to help myself discover new music. Now,
Mm.
when people listen to music, I'm so guilty for this, particularly because I suffer with like ADHD, and I find a song that I really, really like, and I can listen to the same song on repeat for 3 weeks, and I will never get bored of it. And
Me
it'll get
too.
to a point where I'll then move on to another song, and I'll stop listening to that song, and I'll move on to another one, and then on to another
Exactly.
one.
I'm the
And
same.
I just wanted an excuse to sort of discover new music. And by doing a podcast, by speaking to different artists around the UK, it forced me to listen to the music, and it forced me
Mhm.
to discover new artists, and it forced me to have these conversations, because I'm naturally a really shy person. I mean, I
Hey,
can
me
talk on
too.
the radio, I can stand
Yeah,
on a stage with a microphone, and I
yeah,
can present. But once the microphone and the lights are down and the computer's off, I
same.
love my own company, and I love just listening to some music. And it's helped me come out of my shell a bit more doing these, these conversations, and
Yeah,
being able to, speak with a bit of elocution and be able to talk a bit clearer in a way, because I'm from the north, and if I was to talk properly, my accent is quite thick. But over these past 5-6 years that I've been doing the show, you develop yourself. Every day is a school day, so you're discovering new
okay.
artists, you're discovering ways to speak with artists, and different questions you can ask, and different avenues you can go down. Because the one thing, and I'm sure you're the same with this show as well, is you have a couple of questions in your head, you have a couple of preset questions, but you never know where the conversation's going to go. And my show is
Yeah,
called Country
sure.
Chat with Dom.
Yeah,
So the chat is the main part. We're chatting, we're talking. And I
yeah,
always say to them, there is no time limit. There is no time limit. There's no set questions.
yeah,
Go on a tangent. If you want to talk about what you had to eat last week, talk about it, because it's your life. It's your journey. It's your everybody's got a journey, very much like you're discovering everybody else's journeys. And it's similar to what I do in terms of the artists. I want to know how they got into country music. I want to know what they did growing up, what sort of guided them to that direction. Did they do things like drama and theatre at school? Was it musical side that they were into? Or is it just by happen chance that they were just singing in the shower one day and the mum turned around and says, "You're actually really good, you should do this"? It's,
yeah.
it's stories like that that I absolutely love. And that was the main reason, was discovering new music. But the second reason was to help obviously promote the artists.
Yeah,
And the
of course.
one thing I always say with my show and with the artist as well is, it's not my show. Yes, it's got my name on it. Yes, I'm hosting it, but I'm just here to guide the conversation. I'm here to learn
Totally.
about you. The listeners are here to hear about you. People click on a link to hear about you and your journey. They're not here to hit. I can do my own show. I can do my own episode and talk about me, and people might watch it, people might not. People might be
Yeah,
interested. Who
yeah,
knows? But when people click on a video that has your name in it, they're here to see you. So
totally.
talk. So just
Yeah,
relax, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some biscuits, chill out, and let's just have a chat and have fun with it. Now, there's obviously some artists that have to have a time limit because of other interviews and stuff.
of
So I
course.
can condense it down. It's something that I've developed over the past 5 years, is learning how to read a situation, read a conversation, and
Yes.
know when to either hurry something up or to completely avoid a certain question, because things are personal and things do get
Yeah.
personal on the show. We talk about a lot of emotional stuff because country music is very much done from the soul. It's three chords and the truth. And the truth hurts. And the truth is sometimes very, very dark. And to get those dark lyrics and to get those dark stories out, a lot of the times it's based on facts and it's based on
Yeah.
reality and it's based on stuff like that. And it's about having, when you're speaking with artists like that, it's having that sense of respect for that person as well, to give them the space to talk without the pressure. And
So
it is, to me, so fascinating. And it'll be similar for yourself. People with different journeys. I mean, I could talk all day about music. I could talk all day about depression and anxiety because it's something that's affected me my whole life. I could talk all day about football. That's the whole point of the shows, though, is so we talk.
amazing. Yeah, I get your point. I think I have hundred of questions here, and sometimes, of course, they repeat. But as you said, different answers, different.
Yeah,
The whole show is about going with the flow. Amazing. Right on. So, I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to relax before the first question. Okay?
that's fine.
Yeah, let's do it. Right, so before I start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can change, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Amazing. First question is, what gives you butterflies?
What gives me butterflies? Getting a text the very first thing in the morning, the moment I open my eyes, or the moment that I open my phone and I see a message from people that I love, whether it's friends, family, partners, no matter what point in life, to see that message from a loved one makes me feel like I am wanted in this world. It makes you feel like people are actually thinking about you. And
Hmm.
I mentioned earlier about depression and anxiety. You find yourself getting into you find you spiral sometimes, and to have that, just a simple good morning, or good morning, I love you, or how are you doing today, or I've got to XYZ place safe, or or even a good night, just communication with the people that you love is what gives me butterflies.
I know each person in your life, right this moment, you feel more connected to or close with.
So I am very, very connected with my partner. She is a singer-songwriter herself, and we have so many things in common. Um, and it's one of those relationships that we have our good, we have our bad, we have our arguments, and we are long distance at the moment, and it's very, very difficult. And even if we are arguing long distance, eventually we do sort of see each other eye to eye and say, okay, we understand where we've come from, we know where the limits are, and yeah, she's definitely that person there.
Okay, she's watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send her a message. What would you say?
Um, the message I'd say is I'm just really proud. I am genuinely proud of everything you've achieved. I'm genuinely proud of everything you're going to achieve. I'll stand by you no matter what in life. Whether everything works out, if everything doesn't work out, because nobody knows the direction of life.
Mhm.
And just, I am insanely, insanely proud of this woman.
Amazing. Good. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Dom from England. Next question is, tell us something that you have done that you feel very proud of yourself.
So I've done a lot of different sort of things throughout the years, and one of the things that I grew up with was my family have always fostered. We've always had foster children in the house, and growing up, we I'm 32, 33 this year. We started fostering when I was 11, so this is 22 years ago,
Wow.
and at the time there was nothing really for birth kids. The foster children had so much in terms of different activities. They went to the cinema, bowling, Pizza Hut, different things that made them feel included. They got extra presents from Santa Claus at the kind of like theatre, the musical theatre that we used to go to at Christmas, the pantomime. Sorry, I couldn't even think of the word. And me, my brother, and my sister, we spoke with one of the directors at the foster agency based up here in the north, and we wanted to create something for the birth children. We wanted to create something that made them feel included, but also educational as well. So what we created was something called the Kids Who Care Council, and it was the KWCC for short. And what that entailed was when a new family come in to go through the panel. So I don't know if anybody knows what the foster care process is like, but there's rigorous interviews. There's they've got to have background checks and checks of the house and make sure that the family is suitable to foster. And then in one of the final panels that they do is they come into the FCA and they sit in front of a panel. So a collection of different social workers, different directors, and basically make sure that everybody is on the same page. Now, what we got them to do as well was actually bring their own kids in, and they were brought into a separate room with me and my brother and my sister. We was, kids at the time. I was 16, my brother was 15, my sister, was 6 or 7, and we sat down with the kids. We played games with them. We talked to them about fostering, about the good side, because there are so many good things about fostering. But there is also so many difficult things about fostering that a lot of people don't realize. The fact that there's a new person coming into the house, the fact that it's a whole disruption to the system. And as much as the parents are really excited for this, sometimes for the children, I know it was for myself, it's actually a really, really daunting thing to have this new person coming into the house to receive all the love from your parents. It's quite it's a shock to the nervous system, and we wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page, everybody in the family, because it's a whole family thing. It's a whole collection. It's a community that does it. And as well as doing that, knowing that they could come to us and talk about any issues they've had, and then we'd have a social worker with us if they needed to talk, a bit more in depth about certain things, because there's a lot of the children that we fostered, there was a lot of trauma involved, and that tends to proceed into the foster child's life, and a lot of the behavior is learned behavior. And we know, obviously, as adults, we definitely know now that it's not their fault. But as a child, you don't realize that. You just think there's just this disruptive child that's coming into the house. And we wanted to create a safe space for the children to come and talk freely, to be able to speak about what's going on in their lives, in how they're feeling. It's almost like a therapy session. And then we got to go out bowling. We got to go to the Pizza Hut ourselves. We got to go to the cinemas, and we just wanted to make everybody feel inclusive. So I think that's one of the things I've been most proud of in my life so far. I mean, I've done loads of other things such as volunteering at like equestrian centres and whatnot, but I think that is the one thing that just really does, when I think about it, stands out for me.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Dom. I think it's amazing for you to share that. I think people watch this interview, they're gonna understand a little bit more, and maybe get into it and understand more that there are so many children that they would love to be with a family where they are welcoming, where they can have a life where they can share love, they can share experiences, and I think that's the beauty of it for sure.
And that's the main thing, is sharing that love.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a bit of love to share around. It's just making sure everybody is on the same page and everybody is getting an equal share of love as well, particularly as a family.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it.
Next question.
All right. So before the next question, tell me a little bit more about your podcast. So tell me how everything got together.
So yes, so I started the podcast back in 2019. That's where I sort of started researching all the ideas together. Mentioned the fact that discovering country music over in Texas, and through the job there, he's then kind of brought me into country music and trying to find those individual artists. I then started messaging artists, trying to work out how to organize an interview, because when you've got no experience in doing interviews, when you've got the only radio experience I've ever had was working in a community radio station at high school during lunchtimes, where I used to do like a politics show, because my friends used to study politics and law and stuff. And I got them onto the show to debate. So that's the sort of only kind of like radio experience that I've got. And I was messaging artists, and I managed to get hold of um I remember my first two artists like tomorrow. My very first episode was with Danny McMahon, an incredible artist from Bristol, and my second one was with Louise Parker. And me and Louise Parker have been best friends ever since. It's just been one of those sort of journeys that's really kind of really stuck with us. And then I mentioned my partner, my girlfriend, is a singer as well. She's actually as we're recording this, she's still the longest episode that I've had, and we spoke for 3.5 hours on the podcast.
Wow.
And we created a song together. We talked about life together, and we just talked just about everything, and it was fantastic. So yeah, those are like the key kind of like episodes that really sort of stand out to me. The main thing with my show is I don't want to put pressure on myself because I don't get paid for this. I do this because I am genuinely a massive fan of the scene. And if the artist gets one more listener, if they get one more subscriber, if they have one more CD bought, or if they have one more fan, that's me done for that artist.
Yeah.
At the base minimum, if they get one more listen, then that I've promoted the artist. Yes, I'd love for the artist to have thousands and millions of streams, but I know I'm real. I am a realist. I understand that I'm not that big yet. I want to be that big. And the only reason why I want to be that big is because the bigger I am, the more people listen to the show, the more those artists get the feature. You know, it's the reason why you try and get some of the bigger names on, because more people are attracted to those bigger names. And if they watch the bigger names and go on to the next video, and it's an indie artist from here in the UK or over in America, in Nashville, trying to make them a name for themselves, and they discover a new fan, great. And if it happens, 10 times, great, that's 10 fans, 100 fans, however many people listen. So that's the whole aim. That's the aim of life. That's the aim of everything, particularly what I do here is I just want to help people. I just want to help the artists. I just want to be another platform for them because they've got their own social medias. Use mine.
Amazing. Very good. Next question for you is, what will be the title of your memoir?
Oh, title of my memoir. It's gonna have to have some form of like alliteration. It's got to. The song that me and Sarah Louise is my girlfriend's name, and that's if people do want to check her out. Obviously shameless plug. But when we did our 3.5 hours podcast, we wrote a song together for me. It was like an aspirations, like a vision board, but in the form of a song. And it was me wanting to be a full-time paid radio presenter with a successful podcast and learning how to dance, because I've never been able to dance. And I've already sort of checked one of them off because I remember going to a festival with Sarah. It was our very first festival together as sort of like a couple that nobody really knew because it was brand new, but they sort of knew. And one of our friends, Alan Finlan, another great artist here in the UK based down in Portsmouth, he was performing on the stage at the time at Country on the Coast Festival, and he was singing Tennessee Whiskey. And I will remember this for the rest of my life, was dancing on the dance floor. There was only a couple of other people on there, but we was doing almost like a full waltz type thing to a country song. And it was one of those moments that just sort of really stays with you. And the reason why I mention all that is because the song that we wrote is called Dominic Dancing, Living His Best Life. And I think that's what my title would be.
I love that. I love those moments when you feel confident, when you somehow you connect with her and you just went for it. And there you go. Saying that, what's the biggest joy of being Dom? What do you like the most about being you?
The ability to talk. I love the fact that I don't hold back, even if it gets me into trouble. I don't have a filter sometimes. Trying really hard on this show because it's obviously a family show. I make it very clear if there's a lot of foul language in the show that I do, or if it's very dark subjects, I'll put like a disclaimer at the start of the show. But the fact that I talk, I love to talk. I love to talk about everything. And if I don't know the subjects, if I don't know what it is, I'll learn it. I want to learn it. I want to know because I want to be educated. I want to know what people's thought processes are, how they got to there, because if one person's done that, another person's going to have done that. So then it helps me in my journey, in my podcasting life, and learning how to talk to other people and learning, okay, this person's been through this bad situation. I now know how I can go through that subject. And if this person mentions it as well, I know how to sort of navigate that. Now, obviously, that's not 100% true because people are different. And one thing people need to always remember is my pain isn't the same as another person's pain, as well as another person's pain, or it's all down to interpretations of life, interpretations of your own pain and sorrow. And it's how you take that pain and sorrow and build yourself up from that. And I've watching other podcasts, Stephen Bartlett, he does a fantastic podcast, A Life of a CEO, I think it's called. And he does one with a guy called Mo, who is one of the executive officers of Google X, where they do all the developments for Google, so all the app developments and different sort of things. And he has a theory on happiness, and it's his mission to make 50 billion people happy, or 50 million people happy.
Wow.
And I remember listening to this podcast because I suffer with depression and anxiety, and it's been a rough couple of months, particularly for myself. And, you know, I feel sorry for everybody who's sort of had to put up with it almost. And when you suffer with these sort of things, we almost feel like a burden. We almost feel like a burden to people. And that's not the case. We know that. But when you're in that sort of low point, that's how it feels. And Sarah sent me this podcast. And when I first watched it, I cried. And I was so angry because it was one of those things that it was telling me all these things. It's, well, that's too easy. It can't be that. It can't be that. But when you watch it the second time or the third time or the fourth time, and you let it sink in, you think about certain things, and it really hit home. And, you know, that was only, I think, less than a month ago that I actually watched that. And I've just come back out of that sort of low spell. And it's given me such a new lease on life, on how to combat how you think and how you take on, you know, these negative thoughts almost. And then you take that and then you apply it into the podcasting and into talking to people. And like I say, you know, one of the biggest things about me that I love is talking, and watching things like that and learning from things like that helps me do what I love to do.
You are in the right place right now, I can tell, Dom. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, next question is, which movie had a big influence on you?
Big movie. Ooh. There's a couple of movies that have sort of really hit home with me. And one of them is The Green Mile with Tom Hanks. It's one of those long movies that really makes you stop, assess the situation, and view. It was sort of an educational film for me, looking at what prejudices are like and what it's like having people judge people because of whether it's the color of the skin or whether because they're 20 feet tall. You know, because you're a big guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy. And it was one of those sort of movies that really struck me. And I think it was one of the first like longest movies that I watched, other than this second movie that I was going to mention, and is Titanic.
I love it. I love Titanic.
It's one of those films that I always remember. Me and my brother, we got VHSs when we was kids, and I got a VHS for Christmas, and my brother got a VHS for Christmas. We got it from my dad's friend at work, and he got them us. And I got Titanic, and I watched it all the way through, and my family cried to it because it's such an emotional film. And I was just so fascinated by the way that the ship cracked and the whole kind of like the way that the structure worked. And that's what one of those things that sort of actually edged me towards engineering and how materials work. It was sort of fascinating because I was only 10, 11, 12 at the time. And the last movie that I just want to mention, and the only reason why I mention it is because it's one of those movies that we had to buy 3 or 4 different times, VHSs, and it was The Lion King, the Disney version, the animated version. We watched it that many times, we burnt through the VHS, the tape itself. It faded every single time, and it was just constantly on repeat. You know, I can mention other films like Harry Potter. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. Lord of the Rings, yes, but those are the three movies that sort of really resonate with me.
Okay, I'm gonna share a fun fact about Titanic. So, of course, I'm originally from Brazil, and growing, I remember when it came out Titanic, and I remember I was living in a very small town. Actually,
Yeah,
my mom still lives in this town, and there was no cinema there. So, I remember the VHS. I remember in the city, people need to wait on the queue because was one or two only available in this,
yeah,
store. So I remember people waiting like months to get it to watch at home, and that's how I watched for the first time. And I think I remember, if I'm not wrong, it wasn't subtitles. It was like the voice, they put the voice over it, like so. It was in Portuguese,
yeah.
right? So 19-year-old, I moved to Europe. I came to London, and and I remember when I think was 20 years or something when Titanic like turned. So they started showing the cinema for
Yeah.
the first, and I went to the cinema here in London for the first time to watch. Not the first time I went to the cinema, but to watch Titanic. And oh my God, of course, I was already in London. I had an idea about this very posh English, a different way. And the way I watched the movie, it made so much like difference to see Kate Winslet like with this very posh English. Like I was like, my God, what's a beautiful. I saw the movie in a different way, and I was more fascinated about the movie, knowing English now and understanding. So it was a beautiful, beautiful experience. The last time I watched it, I think was last year when I went to Canada. And like, I was in the plane and it was a different movies. When I was saw Titanic, I was like, okay, I'm going to go for it. So it was the last time I watched it. And so yeah, I love movies as well. I could tell you a list of movies that is my therapy of the week, by the way. I watch cinema every week. It's the only time when I'm there, the whole experience about movies. As I don't watch TV. I don't have all those platforms that you mentioned about Netflix. I don't watch series not just because I don't want it, just because it takes a lot of time, and I'm so busy with the channel and everything that I don't watch. But cinema, it's something that I go every week. It's my therapy of the week. Yeah. Now I feel like watching again after this conversation.
We'll do it.
Not
We'll do it
today, not
tonight.
no, oh my God, so I'll be in trouble tomorrow for sure. But yeah, my next travel, I'm gonna look for it to see if it is available in our plane for sure. Last question, ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Last question. My question for you is: when was the moment that country music hit you, that you went like, oh my God, that's something interesting and new, or that somehow brought this desire for you get more into it?
It goes. There's a couple of instances because I speak with different artists around the world, and there's different styles of country music as well because it's a
Yeah.
big umbrella.
Yes.
So the first time that I was really sort of stopped was when I was in the hotel room and I was just laid there. I was frustrated with the TV. It was a difficult day at work, and I turned the radio on, and the first song that came up was Tennessee Whiskey with from Chris Stapleton, and there's an iconic start to the song which goes do 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 do, and it's just so iconic that if you play it to any country music fan, they know exactly what it is. And I just remember hearing that lick thinking, what is that? Like it just permeated my soul. It was just I didn't just feel it in my ears. I felt it in my shoulders. I felt it in my chest. I felt it in my stomach. I felt it in my toes. It was just one of those songs and one of those riffs when I first heard it that I was just like, wow, this is something else. And then from that, learning, obviously, then taking a dive into country music. I mentioned earlier about John Pardy, Head Over Boots. And then that's the first time I really stopped and listened to the lyrics of a song. And the lyrics to Head Over Boots are just so moving because it's talking about love. It's talking about a guy falling head over boots over a girl. And one of the lines is, you can be my queen and I'll be your king. And whenever I hear that line, whether I'm in the car singing that line, it's just, you can't help but smile. You can't help but feel good. You can't help but think the world is going to be good. That day is going to be good. Your life is going to be good. Just because it holds you and it takes you, and it guides you, and the way that John Pardy does that song is absolutely outstanding. And the final song I just want to mention is final two songs, sorry. The song that I spoke to Louise Parker about on my second interview, it was one of those songs that sort of made me stop and actually think. A lot of the times, people go to Nashville from the UK and from around the world because Nashville is the sort of the central hub for where everybody goes for country music. You know, it's Nashville or Memphis or places in Georgia, but Nashville is the main place. And she wrote a song called Moving to Nashville, and she lived over in Nashville for a bit, and it wasn't as cracked up as it was meant to be. And it was one of those songs that sort of made me stop and go, so it can be bad, you know, because in our heads, we've got this idolized version of, you know, this glitz and glam and the Broadway with all the neon lights and every bar's playing country music, and it's artists can go over there and make a name for themselves, and it's not the case. It's one of those songs that really first opened my eyes up to the amount of work that artists have to do to get themselves noticed. And then that ties me in with this next song here from Kezia Gill called House of Cards. Now, if I was to ask anybody that didn't like country music to play a song that they'll like, I always recommend Kezia Gill and House of Cards, because it is one of those songs that just really stops you in your tracks. The way that she starts, the way that the guitars come in, the way that she encapsulates the audience. And when you watch it live, it is just it's one of those, we mentioned earlier, butterflies in the stomach. Every time it stops you. You can't help but turn and look at the stage. You can't help but put your eyes on her. It's just, it's incredible. And she's just been signed by a label now as well. And it's so totally deserved. So, you know, well done, Kezia, for, signing to Snake Farm Records.
Amazing. Next question for you is, what do you think people need to know about each other before they start a relationship?
I think people really need to understand what makes them happy and what makes them sad. Because I think with a lot of relationships, when you start a relationship, yes, everything is very, very happy. It can be almost fast. It can be, a bit overwhelming sometimes for some people. But when that happiness sort of settles and you become comfortable and you experience things in life that do make you sad, to understand how sad that person can get and be prepared for that, and having that preparation, and by doing that, and the one word that I always say is important with any relationship that I've been in the past and currently is communication.
Yes, thank you.
We've got to be able to talk. We've got to be able to talk about what we're feeling. We've got to be able to talk about how we're feeling, and we've got to be able to talk without judgment.
Yes, I think the main key is communication for sure. You need to be able to talk very open about any topic with, the person you are sharing your life with. And I think that's the main key for sure. Right, it's not end yet. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words. There's one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's start with money.
Money. So word association, money, tied down.
Family.
Hope.
Life.
Long.
Fear.
Was that fear?
Yeah.
Accomplish.
Love.
Everything.
Religion.
Everything.
Sex.
Hopeful.
Politics.
Unnecessary.
Friendship.
Necessary.
I knew you'd say that. Desire.
I'm stuck for a word here. Desire. First word that comes to mind is pink for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Regret.
None.
Success.
Everything.
Wish.
Love.
Happiness.
Life.
One word for Leeds.
Home.
One word for York.
Old.
England. One word.
Home. Oh, can I use home again, or shall I use a different word?
Of course you can.
I'm gonna change that to green. Sorry.
Okay. One word for country music.
Life.
Wow.
Life.
And the last one now, your podcast. So count chat with Dawn. One word.
Country chat with Dom with one word. Yeah, it's all together, and that's what my socials are like, and that's how you find it on everything as well.
And if you could define that in one word, your podcast, what that would be?
I hope it's inspirational.
Okay, amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your girlfriend for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her. Define Dawn in one positive and one negative word only. What she would say about you?
In one word.
Yeah.
Talkative.
Okay.
And negative, stress.
What's your star sign astrology, Dawn?
Mine's very weird. So I'm on the cusp. My birth date is the 23rd of September. So
Right.
I am right on the border. It depends on what, papers you look at, what magazine you look at. I'm either a Virgo or a Libra.
Interesting. Oh, wow.
So when I was growing up, I always used to say I was a Virgo, but I think I am technically now, when I look at most of them, I think it is now shifted towards Libra. Like I say, it depends. It's just one of those really frustrating ones.
Let's play now, Dom, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. All right, you can ask me a question now, Dom.
If you could tell one person one piece of advice to either get them going with something or to give them that motivation, what would that one piece of advice be?
Wow, great question. Love the question. Right, the piece of advice I would give is give the first step. Yeah, I'm gonna base on my show. When I start doing the show, I always been a very perfectionist. I like things to be there, but however, I realized that there are no perfection. You just learn with the process. You improve things. So give the first step. Give the first step. That's and you're gonna learn through the process. Don't put barriers. Oh, this is not right yet. Oh, I need to put this first. So no. If you have the main thing, just start doing it, and you're gonna see how things gonna develop, and you're gonna understand. And the other part of the question would say, you know what? Not easy, but I think you just need to consistent. You need to literally to give your time you need to feel it. You need not just to want, because all of us, we want something, but not about just want. You need to make it up for it. I think luck, it works together with your discipline. I think discipline is the main key of anything in life. Discipline, sometimes I wake up, literally, I'm an early bird. I wake up every day, 4 o'clock in the morning. I do my workouts. I edit videos before I start my work, and it's a discipline every day. And sometimes, even though I feel like, oh my God, I could stay in bed another, half an hour, but I don't, because that's the discipline. And when I get things done, that's where I feel the greatest. So yeah, I think is that, just memorize everything. Give the first step without any, don't overthink too much. Just start doing it, start going, and things gonna go the right direction. And discipline is the main key. Literally, you need to have this discipline around to get things done.
You see, I love that, because growing up with my dad was a manager, and one piece of advice that he gave me when I was a kid was, you get out what you put in. Yes. So if you put in a lot of effort, if you put in all the work, if you put in your entire heart and soul into something, you're going to get a reward back. Whether it's now, whether it's in the future, whether it's in dribs and drabs, you will get something back. You will earn something, because you've earned that. You've worked for it. You've shown that dedication. You've shown that commitment. And like you say, it's all about that dedication to the craft, to what you're doing.
The discipline, and I think is, the universe is gonna get the message if you get it done. Because sometimes you go like, oh, I'm doing a lot and I don't say, but are you like really? So ask yourself if you are really giving your time for whatever you are doing it. Ask yourself, look in the mirror, go like, okay, if you see things are not going the right direction, or you're a bit lost, a bit stressed, or a bit like, oh, maybe things are not, ask yourself in the mirror, am I putting everything there really? Like, am I giving my time? Am I, literally putting all my thoughts, my tears, everything in there? And if the answer yes, amazing. Maybe this is meant to be. However, if you really true to yourself, you go like, you know what? Actually, I can put some things on the side and I can kind of give more time to there. And as you said, whatever you believe is going to listen to you. But you need to you need to compromise that. You need to compromise. It's not about dreaming is amazing. You need to dream. You need to go after, but you need to, to take the step and go for it. Like literally, if you really love something, if you really love something, you just. But the thing is, when you love something, you just want to be there anyway. You know what I mean? You just do it.
Exactly. That's it. I mean, you've got to have that passion for something. If you don't have the passion for it, why are you wasting your time and energy on it?
Totally.
Focus on something that you genuinely want to do. Focus on something that you genuinely love. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a
Yeah.
podcast or new
Yeah.
music, or you want to watch a film. If you're not enjoying the film, just turn it off. Get a new film on that you'll enjoy, or discover a new film that you'll enjoy.
And also, I would like to point this as well. Don't no overwork too hard. Give your time to yourself as well. Because you need to recharge your batteries. You need to let it go a little bit. You need to go for a walk. You need to watch a movie. Do something that's gonna distract you from your daily routine. Something that's very important as well. The balance is very important.
Burnout is such a big thing at the moment.
Oh,
And
I've been there. I've been
we've all
there.
done it. Whenever
Yeah.
we talk to people and we say, be careful not to burn yourself out, we say that because we've done it ourselves.
Oh yeah.
I like I mentioned earlier, how I had to take a break from podcasting for 2 years, 2-3 years, was because I burnt myself out, because I put too much in. And I wanted to put too much in because I felt like I needed to, because during lockdowns and during COVID, I had all the time in the world. I had all the time in the world to do I did full episodes a week, and did reviews. I did written reviews. I had a whole website and social media, and everything was going. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But then I went back to work, and I had no time.
Yeah.
If you can't just pull time out of nowhere, you've got to give something up to do something. It's about having a glass, and you've got your time in there. And if you're dedicating all that time on one thing and you need to add something else in, something's got to come out.
Totally. Absolutely. I like that, actually. I like this theory. I love it. Don't you enjoy the interview?
I've loved this. This has been so relaxing. It's been so open, and I've always loved shows where people can talk, and you've allowed me to talk. And I am sorry, everybody, for having to listen to me waffle on about my everything, but I have genuinely loved my journey. I'm looking forward to my future journey, and hopefully, there's plenty of people that will join me on my journey, and hopefully people from my side of the screen will join you in yours as well.
Totally. Absolutely. All your colleagues, what I mean, all the artists that you think would like to somehow be part of the show, it'd be a pleasure to have them here for sure. Don, thank you so much. It was, a pleasure having you here. I love having passionate people here. I love to listen to stories. I love seeing people, their eyes shine when they talk about their passion. I think it's amazing. I feel the energy, and I think that's the way to be. You need to, to follow your intuition, follow what makes you feel great. It doesn't matter what, it can be anything, but just go for it. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. However, the journey that matters, that's the whole journey what matters. So thanks for your time. Thanks for being so kind and accept my invitation. Good luck with your music. Country music is as I mentioned before, music moves me, and any kind of music. So carry on, and I'm sure people will appreciate that as well, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
So a thing to live by. I was also a manager at Domino's, a big worldwide famous pizza chain, and our motto in the store was JFDI, and everybody memorized JFDI. Now I'm not going to say what the F is because it's a rude word.
Okay.
But the rest of it is just do it. If you've got something to do, just do it. Don't think about it. Don't say, we was talking about this earlier. Don't sort of go, oh, I'm not good enough for that, or I don't have enough followers for that, or my voice isn't suited for that. Give it a go. Just give it a go, because if you don't give it a go, if you don't fail, how do you know?
Totally. And just adding to that, if you're gonna do something, and if you feel scared, and if you feel the butterflies, it's a positive sign. It means you are going the right direction. Because if you're gonna do something and you don't have anything, maybe your intuition is just telling you to go towards another direction. And if you feel scared, like literally scared, go feeling scared. That after you're gonna see the beauty after that, for sure.
Exactly. I mean, butterflies come from a place where you care. It's because you genuinely care for something. If you're nervous about a performance that you're about to do, or if you're nervous about going on stage, it's because you genuinely care about that, about your craft, about what you're doing in life. And you just always remember, those people aren't there to judge you, unless they are judges. But they're there because you're there. We're there together. We're a family in all the different genres of life, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's film, whether it's TV, whether it's people creating TikTok videos, whether it's people just doing a book club. We're all together doing this thing together. So just keep going.
Amazing. Very good.
So again,
Perfect.
absolutely love this. So thank you so much.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Enjoy your evening, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show, okay?
Definitely, same to you. And I'll have to get you on my show at some point to talk about music and films and just everything. So
I'll be there. Take care, okay?
Definitely. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.